And do you know what's actually even funnier with this that I just noticed?
Yeah.
How it says there's 5 left in stock, but 1 in a cart.
Are you?
Like, who has this?
All right, so starting this episode off with a particular topic, we're recording this on July 16th, 2024, and a pretty big thing happened in American politics, I would say.
Yep.
And I don't plan on talking about the event specifically. I'm not going to invite that into our comment section now or in the future. But all I do want to say is I'm real happy that the motherfucker doesn't look like either one of us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just like little overjoyed about that right now. But anywho, the important part is how much of a fucking banger that song is.
It is. What is it from?
It is okay. So
forget about all the political
all
stuff.
that bullshit.
But the
song that people have
fire.
been using is fucking fire. So it is. It's not like an officially released song. You can't find it on Spotify. You can't even find like it's not even like directly uploaded to YouTube or anything.
I was wondering what that was. It's a picture of Marco.
Yeah. It's just from this dude's SoundCloud. He's a German composer. I don't know how he pronounces this name. I don't know if it's Milye, whatever. Milye, obviously. Milye. But he just like produces music on his SoundCloud. And for whatever reason, people took this one and started doing TikToks too. Initially, it was actually that One Piece TikTok I just showed y'all is where it really comes from. But started getting used in a lot of other TikToks as well. And oh my God, I fucking love this dude's music. So the song in particular is called Drumline, and it's actually like featuring a drum line as the main sample, but then there's also like a weird like kind of like big band gospel thing going on with it, as well as like there's just samples of like Michael Jackson and Kanye West going on in the song. It's such a good fucking song that is like, every once in a while I come across a song that I am so sad is not on Spotify. Mm-hmm. But it's on SoundCloud, so that's all that matters. So go check out Milye. Go check out the rest of his work, because like a lot of his other stuff is he does a lot of things like he has a song called Happy Type Beat, and it's actually a really cool, like, it's upbeat. It almost reminds me of like the ending to like a slice of life anime featuring a group of teenage girls. Like, if you think like, I don't know if that's gonna immediately give off the vibe that I get. I wonder if I can find it. Let's see.
I get what you're saying. I think I get what you're saying.
But yeah, all his music is good. So he has some stuff that's out there that's like just like kind of composed for like cinematic use, but a lot of the stuff he puts out has this, so it's like falls somewhere between like glitch hop and lo-fi. It's really cool. Oh, here's Happy Type Beat. Like,
I see exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So yeah, Milye. Check him out on SoundCloud. Really good music, really good composer. Voice of a generation right now, I'd say. Anyway, with that, episode 30. I don't think I've like actually announced that we're in an episode in a while by so number.
Been like cold opens.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. Which is crazy because this one technically is a cold open. Anywho, so yeah, we back. Some of us are tired, some of us are not. That's
some of us are tired of this bullshit.
Tired of all this bullshit.
Well, that's too damn bad.
Don't talk to Rueben like that.
Once again, this man took a whole nap before we started.
I did. That's why I'm operating on levels that you can't comprehend.
Well,
He's using all of his brain.
all of his brain power is going into this right
He's
now.
using 100% of his brain.
Okay, let's kick this shit off with some Reddit. We'll start with the low one, kind of sort of low.
Now, what is that acronym for?
Would I be the asshole?
Oh.
So it is a subset of am I the asshole?
It's the planning stages.
Yes.
so
I
it's
have not-
before he does the thing. They do the thing that makes them
Yeah.
the asshole.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're
okay.
they're asking, would I be the asshole if I were to go through with this action? Usually still found on the Am I the Asshole subreddit. I'm
Got you,
amazed.
got you.
Was
I just say delete it.
I don't know. I don't recall this user being deleted by the time I got to this. Or maybe it was. I don't remember. It's a little interesting one. So would I be the asshole for dumping my girlfriend after I found out about her past? I, 40 male, have been going out with my girlfriend, 32 female, since last August. We have a great relationship generally. I would say that the only weak patch in our relationship is sex. Not necessarily frequency, but quality. I would describe her as very vanilla, and I'm quite kinky. Like only 1 or 2 positions, and it took her ages to get naked with me. Doesn't like oral, in parentheticals, conveniently.
I don't know.
That is
if I-
parentheses.
Yeah.
Why did y'all let me say that? Fuck y'all.
Because I'm still suspicious of the line, and so I was processing that while you were processing what words mean.
Yeah.
Fair. Doesn't like oral, conveniently accepts it though. So she won't give him a blowjob, but she likes when he goes down on her. But the relationship is great in a lot of ways. So I've turned a blind eye. Asking her about it, she said she had a lot of partners before we got together. And when COVID happened, she found herself on her own. So she worked on herself and discovered herself. She found herself on her own. So she found herself in a lot of alone time and worked on herself and discovered herself. She never said how many guys she's been with, but I assumed it's more than me, which isn't hard as I've only been with less than 10 women in my life. She said before me, she hasn't had sex in about 2 years. We've been getting serious lately, and by chance, I introduced her to my foster brother, 31M. I've known him for over 20 years, so I love him like a true sibling. Everything seemed okay in the meeting, but afterwards he messaged me asking to talk. He said he realized he knows where he knows her from. Basically, he said he realized she was the girl that was that notorious, and who, when he and his mates went out, she was a real slag. This is from UK. She was a hoe. Basically, she was into anything and everything. Threesome, spit roast, gangbangs, everything. She even did an amateur porno, apparently. He protests he ever fucked her, but knows loads of his mates who did. Don't believe that. He said the rule of thumb is if she was out, you knew you'd be getting lucky, apparently. I couldn't get it out of my mind, so I asked her about what he said. She basically admitted it, saying, yep, she was that person. She apologized for keeping it from me, but said she was ashamed of it and that she isn't that person anymore. Since then, I feel really weird about her. I feel basically she's a hypocrite. She doesn't do certain acts or positions yet did in the past. She once had a go at me for watching porn, yet did it herself in the past. In terms of her number, it seemed like she's well in triple digits. I've been trying to process it, but a couple of days ago, she tried to have sex and tried to do things she's never wanted to do, basically acted all slutty. I told her to stop and it feels weird, and she got all defensive and said, isn't it what I want? I don't know why, it just feels not. His wording, again, is really weird on that. I don't know why, it just feels odd. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I can't explain it, but I feel like something is broken between us. I love her, but I can't look at her the same way again. Would I be the asshole for breaking up with her over her past? So before I get in, ask all y'all thoughts on the whole thing. Firstly, folks, quit overlooking sex as part of your relationship dynamic. I know it was very in vogue for a long time to go to try and relegate sex as the bottom of the list when it comes to relationship dynamics. Sex is incredibly important. Is honestly kind of what leads to a lot of problems in marriages. If you are sexually incompatible with your partner, that is a huge thing that will breed resentment or get in the way eventually, if not now, at least 10 years down the road.
You gotta get as much bushy as you can before you get married to a woman who has a clockwork vagina.
Yeah.
Are you being facetious or are you
I'm
being real?
quoting another. Well, I'm paraphrasing another Reddit story that we've heard of the past. Do you remember the one where
Which one?
Actually, it's not the one that we read. It's one that Smosh has read. Where
Oh,
it's where the one where the dad gets a prostitute for his son when he finds out.
yeah. I can't remember that. We might have did that one on here too. I think like early episodes.
Maybe. But yeah, no, that line where the dad is like complaining to his son about how he never had sex with his mom ever sticks in my head.
Yeah.
Because it's so terrifying.
It is very terrifying. Like I if y'all take nothing else away from this, like understand that sexual compatibility is important in a relationship as much as almost any other. It goes beyond the sex. It is having certain needs filled and met is just as important in your decision making on how do you go about that, which that actually plays a part in more of my answer down the line, but we'll get there. So
I have thoughts, but I don't know if.
Well, yeah. I'm trying to remember and get mine out right quick, and then I'm gonna get to y'all. The idea of her being a hypocrite. I know he kind of said this out of the moment, and in his writing of this, it's definitely like he's battling with some feelings that he needs to get figured out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Initially, I was like, you using the word hypocrite is very wrong here until he said one line. She having a problem with him watching porn when, depending on like, as far as the circumstances we know, she was not coerced into doing this amateur porn thing. The fact that she would do porn and then be upset that he's watching porn, that is wrong of her to do. Like that, like just point, period, stop. Like you do not get to be upset at a person for doing something that you yourself have done and not have set it out as like an actual boundary, unless they have had this talk. But that was immediately followed up with like, in terms of her number, it seemed like she's well in triple digits. He doesn't harp on that fact, but the fact that he brought it up is like,
it's still bothering him.
Yeah, it's still bothering him. And I will say to that, the body count of your partner means shit all.
Yeah.
And this isn't necessarily about his dilemma, but I've seen this thing come up so many fucking times, just as internet debates and men versus women debates and the fucking bullshit alpha male red pill wannabe bastards, like always bringing up like body counts and shit. And every time anyone is like, well, why do you care about a body count? Well, and if they don't give the fucking pseudo mumbo jumbo of like, well, you give a piece of yourself to every person you sleep with, and I don't want a girl who's giving herself to all these men, is like, well, firstly, shut the fuck up.
Practically Voldemort.
She can live forever. She has all her. That's why they call it a
Man,
Horcrux.
if that was why they didn't want women to be hoes, is because they would achieve immortality.
That's fair. But there's the other ones who realize how fucking stupid that pseudo like spiritual bullshit is, and they try to go, well, I want to make sure that I'm being safe. I don't want someone who could possibly be getting like diseases. Well, you realize like it's real easy to like kind of bookmark that by, I don't know, getting an STD check. Who would have thought? Sometimes like it doesn't matter what the fucking number is if she's clean. But it's at the end of it, I understand his frustration. I understand where he comes from. I think everything about her past and everything, actually, I'm going to hold off on what I'm about to say on that and just say that I don't think he would be the asshole, but I think he's jumping to an option. He's skipping over a lot of steps to get to the breakup option, because as with most Reddit things and Reddit stories, especially relationship based ones go, for whatever reason, talking to your partner is just never an option. We just don't talk to our partners in here.
We go to Reddit first.
We go to Reddit first and make our whole decision based on what a bunch of strangers tell us to do.
Well, clearly he's like in a state where he doesn't even understand how he feels. I mean, we usually when like stuff like this bugs people, it's a matter of two things, right? One, just insecurity,
right?
Or two, the way that they've been socialized is causing them to view somebody in a way that they themselves aren't even comfortable with.
Yeah.
Right. Like the perception that a woman is like lesser or dirty, or you could throw so many different things in there. Because of like the amount of men that they can be with is something that's very pervasive in our culture.
Yeah.
Right. Sexual purity, at least in American culture, is a thing, and
which
it
just to
fucking
say
sucks.
Just to say, a lot of like, there's not a lot of difference between American and UK culture when it comes to these kind of things.
Fair enough.
As much as they would like to believe that it is, it's not. Y'all, most of America's bullshit came from the UK. Like, most of this was learned behavior, but anywho.
You're not wrong.
Just because y'all got universal health care now does not make y'all
It's shitty universal health care.
So
we
I've heard.
have shitty non-universal health care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said you had thoughts.
Yeah. So, I mean, initially, I just think if I was in that situation, like pretty much the same situation where he just found out by his, like foster brother? Is that what he said?
Yeah. Weird detail for him to like kind of harp on, but
yeah.
Whatevs.
Yeah, I too would be like, wait, really? And I would want to know more. Now, I agree in the sense that would I be the asshole for breaking up with her? I mean, yeah, there are many other steps to take first to try.
Right.
Like, it seems like, obviously, to me, it seems like she really wanted to put all that behind her.
Right.
Didn't want to get that entwined with whatever serious relationship she was trying to get into.
Right.
Not that she, was trying to essentially like super hide it or something, but like she was open to at least telling you about it when you brought it up.
Yeah.
Right. So it's obvious that she's like, okay, yeah, that was me. I'm trying to be better.
Right.
Or be a different person than that person was. Right. So I don't know. I think in that, because she knows that and she also knows that you seem to like other things in the bedroom.
Right.
She's like, okay, well, I guess since we could try stuff. Maybe she thought that him knowing would turn him off towards her. Maybe.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of different considerations in this scenario. I think that breaking up with her would be the wrong choice here, right?
Mm-hmm.
One, because it would bug me, but the reason that it would bug me is because of the change of behavior towards me, right?
Yeah.
Because if like if you turn over a new leaf, right?
Right.
But then you're acting in ways that are like degrading our relationship. And that's a behavioral change that you chose
your bitch
to
ass
make,
up.
right? And it's having a negative impact on our relationship. That would bug me a little bit, because this kind of situation is about coming together, right? It's about coming together, right, and working together for like mutual pleasure and mutual benefit, right? And regardless, it seems like they're not really communicating on what's going on in the bedroom and what they both want from it and what they both need to get from it.
Right.
Because it sounds to me like she realized, I don't know in what capacity, but she realized that the way that she was using sex in her life, or that sex was occupying her life, she wasn't comfortable with, right? Either she was doing stuff that she wasn't comfortable with, or she was using it for some sort of emotional gain that she wasn't comfortable with, and she tried to make a change in some capacity, right? But I don't think either of them know what that means for their current relationship. Yeah. And it's causing friction. So I think that they should work through that. But yeah.
Yeah. Like, so to speak on that, okay, this is where we start to bring the comments into this, because, and I'm not even going to fucking read them, but a common theme kind of came up of, after reading through this whole thing, you get to the comments and a lot of them are like, well, hypersexuality can be caused by past trauma, whether that be sexual assault or whatever the fuck. And it could be a sign of like past trauma. So her working through that was her working past that trauma. And what kind of struck a nerve with me in some of this theming is, while I do understand that, and that is absolutely a possibility, as not a major possibility, I did strike a nerve. It struck a nerve is that they will call him an asshole for breaking up with her over it. And there's this thing of, and it kind of ties back into what I said about sexual compatibility is still important in a relationship. Like I'm sorry, but like it or not, like it is an important deal. Like someone fulfilling your physical needs is just as important as your emotional and moral needs. But
they'll say that they're two sides of the same coin.
They're two sides of the same coin, right?
Like that's part of your whole self.
Yeah, but like saying he would be an asshole because it was this weird thing of like they brought up the possibility that she could have had like trauma in her life, but then kind of made that an absolute fact that we don't know as the readers, and it other than the fact that he just hasn't, beyond the fact that he just hasn't put it in the story, he might not even know that.
Yeah.
So whatever.
That's a whole other conversation you have to have with your partner.
That's an entire conversation you have to have with your partner. And that's what I really kept coming back to is like, bro, have you talked to her? It's like even more than just like with this situation. It's like, because my initial thing is like, okay, she turned over that new leaf. That is fantastic. And that's great. That's great for her if this is the life that she now wants to live. But that comes along with understanding like, sorry, bro, but now we are incompatible. And if that is a hill you will not budge from, then you both have to accept it. That is just, you both are just now incompatible, which I will say a lot of comments got to that point of like, you two are sexually incompatible. Like there's kind of no ifs, ands, or buts about that, especially if this is a very deliberate choice on her part.
Yeah.
Some did bring up was like, maybe she just felt like you'd be weirded out about her past. Like you said, some of them were like, maybe it's something that she wants to be able to work back up to and feels like that if she started doing those things again, she would backslide into that mentality that she used to have. There's a lot of possibilities here, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to the fact that you two aren't talking. Like, yeah, because one of my initial like thoughts was, well, that kind of sucks if you turned over this new leaf, but you're forcing him to kind of adhere to your vanilla lifestyle now. And then it kind of dawned on me. I was like, bro, have you ever talked to her about the sex life?
Yeah.
Because you start this off with everything else in the relationship is great except the sex, so I just deal with it. And it's like, well,
does she know that you feel that way?
Does she know that you feel this way? Like, does she know that you want more? And have you sat and talked and gone, hey, look, I can pick up that you really, I don't know whether it's because you're uncomfortable or you just don't want to do these things or what, but I am a little more sexually adventurous. And to get to the whole her trying to do the acts after he found out thing,
it's giving that they did have some kind of a conversation, but they clearly miscommunicated about it.
Well, he clearly brought it up to her and asked her about her past, and that's when she like kind of came clean about it. Right now, how much more of the conversation happened, who fucking knows? Now, her trying to have sex and doing those things, I did not read that as her believing he was okay with it. I read that almost immediately as she's trying to appease him in an almost passive aggressive way of like, I
don't know, I feel like putting passive aggression in there is projecting a little bit or something like that. Like it's putting in more information than we have.
That is true. That's more information than we have. I didn't read it as her trying to spice it up. I guess honestly, a lot of this is just information we don't have. I didn't take it as a positive thing that whatever she's doing, especially her response to him going, I really don't want, like, can you stop this, please? As saying that this was something she didn't want almost as much as he doesn't want it now.
Yeah, like, well, clearly in that situation, it looks like she's doing it for him, whether it's out of passive aggression, whether it's to appease him, whether it's... Regardless, it's something that she's doing that's not necessarily for her, but for him.
It doesn't seem like she's enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
That's the point. And it seems like that's what he's kind of getting at of like, and I would say in that situation, that's where I would be too. Like as someone who I'm not kinky or anything, or at least I wouldn't consider myself kinky based on current standards of kink. I'm still adventurous enough that I would want in my partner, like the woman I wind up with, I would want to be sexually adventurous to a degree. Like if it's just missionary and doggy, as much as I enjoy both of those, like I know enough about myself to know that would not be sexually fulfilling for me. Right. Not that I say we need like whips and chains and shit or get out like the fucking rope play or anything, but like a little more than just those two positions and like all of that. But yeah, it's just this, it keeps coming back to this thing of like, it seems like not only does it seem like y'all haven't really talked this all the way out and sat and had a conversation, it seems like you are too afraid to just bring these things up and talk to her about it. Mm-hmm. And that's where I kind of come back to if your ultimate conclusion here is that, yes, we are two incompatible people in this one aspect that is pretty important. And ultimately I decided that we needed to break up. That is where I wouldn't say you're the asshole for it. But if you're jumping straight to breaking up and without any conversation, without really sitting down and talking about this properly, like, that's where you're the asshole.
If you're going to break up, you might as well talk.
You might as well talk it out. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen at this point?
You break up.
She kills him.
Death by snoo.
Death by snoo. Yeah. So like, I don't think he ever really responds to much of this. Yeah. Almost everything in the comments is really just a lot of back and forth between commenters.
Well, it sounds like an extremely complicated situation where so much of it is in the head of the two people we're discussing here. And we don't really have access to that unless they would give us more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, I don't know how reliable this narrator is, or just if it's just a lot of information he just doesn't have.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't
like
really
there
tell
could be
you.
a whole other layer where she feels like he's trying to force her to do things that she's not comfortable with. Like, there could be all kinds of things going on that we don't see.
Yeah.
Good point.
And then people pointed out that this is apparently a plot to a show or a movie or some shit. Almost beat for beat.
Interesting.
Well, I mean,
it's Reddit.
It's also, this is the future. This could all be fake.
Oh, are you saying that this could be artificial intelligence?
No,
that was.
What you just trying to say?
I just tried to goof up the word in a fun, silly way, but it ended up being dumb and incomprehensible. Artificial intelligence. You think this could be an AI post?
What do you mean by it's the future?
No, I guess what I was thinking is not it. It doesn't work because he's talking about past events, but he's wondering about future actions. So.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know where you were going.
I'm not certain. Not following the logical thread on that, but
see, he's just on the next level of.
Is he just too?
Is he got a nap?
I did not have a nap today.
The joke.
No, but yeah. So I don't know. It was one I ended up coming across.
I hate naps though; they make me feel icky.
Really? Oh yeah, no, you told me that before.
Yeah.
What was it? Do you remember the last time you took one?
Nope.
Actually, like last week, because me and you both were like falling asleep on the couch.
That's the closest thing I've had to emotional fulfillment in a long time.
Fair. I know about that one. Oh man. Yeah, no, it's just an interesting one that I kind of came across. That was like anytime I read one of these and I have an initial reaction that ends up changing by the time I get to the end of it. Like, I always find those to be the most interesting because they just kind of create a little thought experiment and thought trail to go down. Mm-hmm. Hey, talk to your fucking partners, man. Like, if you're going to talk to anybody, that's the person you need to be talking to. Mm-hmm. And like, you don't need to like bullet point speed date a lot of these topics out in the first day you meet them, but at some point you have to have these conversations with people.
There are a few of those things that like relationship killers.
Yeah,
that they go around, and one of the ones is when you start to feel like there's things that aren't worth bringing up to your partner anymore.
Yeah,
right. Like either because of the way that they react or because of something else. Like, it's a really easy way to end up building resentment in a relationship and have like blind spots that neither of you just know about because you just aren't communicating.
Mm-hmm. As an example, or at least one that I've heard a lot, stuff like even as simple as like picking up your fucking socks off the floor type shit. Of it hits a point that at like fucking 10 years down the road, your partner has asked you so many times to pick up whatever the fuck behind you. And the agreeing to do it and then the backsliding on it and then just kind of the constant return back to status quo is that breeds resentment in people because then they like, I'm just going to stop asking, but now it's this thing that bothers me that I'm not bringing up anymore. Or like you said, emotional responses of anytime I try to talk to my partner about like, hey, I feel like I'm doing more than my fair share, but your partner immediately gets defensive and starts yelling and they get really angry for you trying to bring up this thing. That's another one of those, you just stop bringing it up, but it never resolved the problem. So now you're just feeling the emotion of the problem with no sight for solution, and
no release, no.
And now it's just it festers into resentment. Talk to your fucking partners. And if you can't talk to them, that should be a pretty good fucking indicator that this relationship isn't working out. I am not an advocate of breakup for any perceived slight. I think that's a real fast way to...
Well, long-term relationships take work and compromise.
Yeah.
Right. I saw a post the other day that I don't know if I fully agree with it, but it said something like, there's no love without sin because love is best measured in what we forgive.
Incorrect.
Which I'm like, I don't think that's right.
I don't think that's, and it's the same thing as like the fights. Every couple will have a major fight. I think the truth in that is every couple has had a major fight. I don't think every couple has to have a fight for it to be a relationship. I don't think that should be, I won't say, like, I don't think people say it defines a relationship. Actually, some people do define the relationship as the ability to have a fight and how they get past that major fight. I don't think that's necessary because a lot of the time those fights happen because of lack of communication. Like literally, if you go into the relationship, understanding strong communication as the foundation, you skirt a lot of that. And if you like,
well, I mean, and couples that are openly communicating will often have fights because if there's something that you both feel strongly about,
right,
and you're communicating about, it will inevitably result in conflict because you're two different people.
I think it will,
but that is a necessary process.
I don't think all conflicts are fights though. I think it results in disagreements, and I think, but a lot of people when they use the term fights, they're using the term fight, not necessarily fist fighting, but the
like screaming,
flared tempers, right? And I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think every relationship has to have the flared tempers thing. I understand why people believe it. I understand why people say it, and they bring it up as it is a likelihood thing to happen in a relationship. But I think the real takeaway on that is learn to fucking communicate with your partner. Yeah. And there's those major things, like if things that are major enough that you're hitting the point of really butting heads on, I won't say you will know how to, like, all of those things will come up organically or naturally. And maybe sometimes you don't even know you had a strong opinion about it until the moment you have to have the opinion about it, right? But I find it hard to believe you have that strong of an opinion that you guys haven't had a chance to sit down and talk about. And if you built your foundation on sitting and talking out these things, I find it hard to believe it's going to hit a point where, and this is not arguing what Fluff just said, it actually is kind of in agreement with what he said with a slightly different wording. It's more of a argument of semantics than it is anything else. But like, you should never hit this point where breaking up is the next step out of emotion, because like breaking up is, I don't know, is the more I say it out loud, the more it sounds more idyllic. But I guess that's the point.
If you're having hopefully your breaking up isn't the ideal solution for your fight. Hopefully solving the thing that you're fighting about.
Right.
Coming to some sort of a compromise or conclusion about it.
I was going to say, hopefully breaking up is a mutual, a mutual decision that you both go, clearly this is something big enough that we both see like opposite ends on, and that this might just be this is where we have to split our ways, instead of we blew the fuck up, she put me out, she won't let me back in, I think we're done. Yeah. Like, I think that, So
it's a pattern.
They're speaking facts. Y'all. there ain't too much more I'm here to add.
How is an example? I can't believe you don't like fucking Basil.
Oh, Basil's bullshit, bro. But you know, I think Basil's overrated. No.
I think your pussy's overrated.
Fuck you. No.
I ate pesto all last week.
Really?
It's not tight. It's not flowing.
See, the problem is the term flowing doesn't immediately invoke sexy time for me. It invokes the other term of the other use of the term flow, vagina. And
it was never supposed to evoke a positive response.
Oh, good. All right. We're all where we need to be. On that note,
Bruh.
moving on to the other Reddit,
I've also been here.
Specifically, I was picturing an SNL skit where there's like a cake, and they
hold up for a sec. In reference to what you just said, what were you referencing?
I was wondering if you would catch it. I was just referencing just like the whole conversation about communication stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a third option I didn't even realize was available. But I was like, he's either talking about what he just read on the screen or what me and him just said about like period flow.
No.
What did he say? I missed it.
No, he started as whatever the fuck you were saying. He said, "I've been here."
I was reading that.
Yeah.
Referencing the title of this, but the fact that I said also, I've been here before also was a callback to the last conversation we had.
So not the flowing pussy.
No. I mentally erased that whole section from my thoughts and went before that.
Oh,
yeah.
Not the
Flowing
SNL
pussy is a-
butthole looking gushy cake.
Well, now it's back in the forefront of my mind. So
flowing pussy is something I need you to never say again in your fucking life, okay? just if you do that for no one else, do it for me, please.
See, but it's so visceral. I think it's been permanently integrated into my lexicon over the last couple minutes.
I don't like it. Sometimes I would even say I might hate it.
some might say.
Some might say strong distaste for it.
Is this going to be the fight that breaks up our relationship?
This is the fight that breaks up our relationship. Yes.
And would I be the asshole if I broke up with my partner for
Look,
saying
I found out.
The difference is you guys are communicating.
We are communicating.
You're not like inside your own heads thinking, "Oh, I hate
we're communicating.
flowing pussy."
We're
They're like, "Oh, flowing pussy all
is
day."
who I am, Rueben.
We're communicating.
You can't change me.
I feel like you really Streisand affected this.
I really did. I really fucking did. I know I did. I know. Are you okay over there?
That's what flowing pussy does to you, children.
Look, communication is important. Sometimes you need to do it with a knife in their throat.
We could have just moved past.
We really could have moved past this. I tried moving past this. I tried so hard to move past this.
I'm not
I just
letting
wanted
it.
to put it there.
I already
fuck
did
you.
it.
No, fuck you, and fuck you. I want to put this on the record. I tried to move past this. Y'all heard me try to start the next fucking topic so many times, and they wouldn't let me.
Huh?
Y'all fucking heard that. Yeah.
It was like
No,
3 or 4
reverse it.
times.
No, yeah, no, I'll reverse it.
Who said pause? Who said pause?
You're right. I did say pause. I will admit my wrongdoing in this, but I tried to move us past that again, even after that, and you motherfuckers wouldn't let me.
Fair.
Even Izzy, you jumped in it.
He's like,
You just gotta
The bus
move.
must flow.
You just,
Stop it.
you just gotta flow around it.
turn his mic off. Turn his mic off.
Oh, this was a mistake. Oh, okay.
Our lives were a mistake.
This is damn.
Holy
Mine was
shit.
a mistake, actually. Topic for a different day. All right, from r/D&D.
Wait, what?
I didn't think it was that crazy. I
Our lives were a
I was an
mistake.
baby, motherfucker. That's it. That's all. Yeah, I was
an
unplanned.
accident too, for sure.
Yeah, I think we even talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're babies.
My younger,
I'm a
youngest
preemie.
I think
sister
technically
was.
I'm a rainbow baby.
Oh, yeah, you did mention that before.
Yeah, I mentioned this before. Yeah, no, the kid my parents were actually trying for, at least this was the story they told me. They've changed the story since, actually, pretty recently.
But they just don't know. And
they might just not know. But
it's so funny to me how deeply insistent that my parents are that, like, no, you weren't a mistake. You weren't an accident. It's just that your mom couldn't keep on her birth control consistently.
I love...
No, you weren't a mistake. It was just a mistake.
I love how the blame
shift of no. We
love you. We're glad you're here, but you definitely were not planned.
You weren't planned, buddy boy.
You weren't supposed to be here, but we're glad you are.
Crazy enough, like, that doesn't fucking bother me. I'm still here. Yeah. I don't give a damn.
Well, it's kind of like, how old were you when you realized that you, like, were a planned pregnancy? Like,
I was right, like
I was in college. I was like,
I've known since early adolescence. I think I've known that I was, even as a child, like my siblings did because this is how fucking weird Rueben is. My siblings did the whole, like, you're adopted, and I've never given a shit. Like, I have never felt like the way I think, my siblings go, you're adopted, and my retort is, yeah, I was chosen, bitches. Unlike you guys. Like, my mom tells that story from time to time, but it's like, to me, it's like, even as a child, my thinking was, well, I don't know why that matters. I'm still here. They still seem to love me. So
like, that's actually a really good retort. Yeah, they saw me and said, we want that one in particular.
They had to just fucking pull out the bag with y'all, and we're stuck with the decision.
You were the gachapon.
I'm the premium prize you pay with tickets.
I use all my keys to get that one.
Triple S right here.
Oh my God. Yeah. If you're adopted and you've ever felt insecure about that, just remember, they chose you. You're actually the favorite child.
You know how much institutional bullshit you have to go through to adopt somebody? It's crazy.
Oh, it's crazy. Like you
know how much work it takes. You know how much work it takes to get somebody pregnant.
Pregnant?
Apparently, the answer on that depends on if you're trying or not. Because apparently, if you try, you can never get pregnant. If you're not trying, that's when all the babies happen. That is what I've learned from my married friends.
I wonder if there's like some kind of psychological thing with that too.
Honestly, I think it is. I think most married. This is me. This is Rueben. I am not a biologist. I am not an OBGYN. I have never worked with pregnant people. I do not understand the psychology or the biology of any of that. But
time for the unprofessional opinion.
Time for the unprofessional armchair opinion. I do feel that with a lot of people that are trying to get pregnant, I think you are stressing yourselves out in the attempt to do so. Because as we know, the female body is fucking finicky. It's bullshit for some odd reason. And I think a lot, like, just listening to the friends of mine who are trying to get pregnant talk about the struggle of getting pregnant and what they do. One of our professors who's talked about this has talked about it. And the common theme that I match up with that, and then I look to some other people in my life who have a fucking legion of children that fucking shouldn't, and another person who uses Jesus as their birth control.
Never heard of her.
Never heard of her. The common budding theme here is, well, when you try, you stress yourself out to the point of like it not working out. But when you're not trying, for some reason, that's where they all kind of come up at. Maybe quit trying. Have fun with it. I don't know. I've never, someone who's not even decided on having children at this point, don't take my word for it. Just a little fucking observation.
Just never try.
Give up.
Forget about it.
You'll never do it. Anyway, D&D.
What a segue.
What a segue. Speaking of never trying, dying in session 0. I died in session 0 and don't know what to do now. So basically and this is from r/D&D. I tried to say that earlier. So basically we were doing small sessions with our DM before starting the campaign later today. For a little context, excuse me, damn. For a little context, we have been on hiatus for a few months, and today's supposed to be our first session back with new characters. I cooked up a fun and interesting character that I was very excited to play. However, we did small session zeros with our DM. I did mine with one other player because his character worked for mine. We were being followed by a hooded figure, and after getting a surprise jump on her, 3 assassins of CR8 popped out of nowhere and killed me, but ended up letting my counterpart live. We are level 1, and I just felt that was an entirely unbalanced and frankly unnecessary thing to do. It couldn't have been a surprise to the DM that I died. I am just at a loss because I didn't even get into our first session and I have to make a new character. I'm considering just not returning to the game because of simply how frustrated I am with the DM's decision, but am I being unreasonable? I haven't confronted the DM yet because I was simply too angry last night to say anything level-headed, but what do I even say? Fuck you, bro.
Is the dungeon master an ex of yours?
The callback.
Good question. No. Like,
haven't talked to the DM yet, bro.
Well,
in fairness,
recognizing when you need to space
right
is an important part of emotional intelligence, so you don't end up saying something fucking stupid,
right,
and like fucking up your relationship or
right,
jeopardizing your opportunity to even participate in this again. But yeah, that is a justifiable anger.
That's a justifiable anger. Because reminder, he wrote this or he or she wrote this the same night the character got killed. And like they have literally just had this happen. The thing I forgot about, I'll say this, like, because I think it's real clear, like your DM's a douchebag.
Yeah.
Like, people get into like the semantics of what a session zero is. I think like there can be, like, most people are like, there shouldn't be any gameplay in a session zero. I think historically there usually isn't any major gameplay other than like just world setup and stuff like that if you want to do that in a session zero. I think technically a session zero can be almost anything as long as it's setting up the world. The point is, there should be not, that's my English today. Okay. There shouldn't be lasting consequences in a session zero, let alone one that ends in death.
Yeah. The whole point of a session zero is to introduce your characters. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Like, the point is to introduce your characters, get them set up. And the way they kind of explain it out, it seems like their session zeros are actually kind of split up 1-on-1s or 2-on-1s or whatever the fuck with the DM.
This feels a lot like somebody's trying to do it how Critical Role usually does it.
Yeah, someone actually mentions that in the comments. I forget how far down, but someone mentions Critical Role here and was like, you're trying to be Critical Role, and it's like, trust me, you don't understand how they work. But the thing that, like, because my initial reaction was like, your DM's a douchebag. The thing I kind of skip over is that this is the start of a new campaign with the same group, just new characters.
Yeah.
Which leads me to now, as I'm sitting here, as I just read it, I'm now like questioning, like, does the DM make decisions like this all the time? And it doesn't seem like he does, because the only frustration here is this decision that the DM made this one time.
It feels like if there was a pattern, they would describe the pattern.
They would have described the pattern if there was one. But even without the pattern, throwing CR8 at your level 1 characters in a fucking, I don't care if this was session 5. You're not handling 3 CR8 characters.
Well, and I get like wanting to put your characters up against sometimes putting your a choice
right
that you can make as a DM when you wanted to create a realistic, air quotes, world is having scenarios that your characters aren't meant to face from a game design perspective.
Yes.
Right. Scenarios that they will lose, scenarios that they have to run away from, scenarios that aren't designed for like CR level 1 characters, because you exist in a complete world that's not centered around your characters.
Right.
But if you're gonna if you're gonna jeopardize the lives of your characters, if there's a potential for them to die at any time, depending on their decisions that they don't fully understand or out of their control, that is something you need to communicate.
You need to communicate that immediately, like, hey, and not in a session 0.
Yeah, you don't communicate that by whoops, your character's
Yours
dead.
Dead. Reroll, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, someone mentioned is like, well,
it feels deliberate.
It feels
without
very
any further
deliberate.
information. It feels like the assassins were there to kill that character specifically.
Especially but ended up letting my counterpart live part.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, they just popped up, killed you, and then were like, go tell the others. Like, and just bounced out.
I wonder if one person died in every session 0 in this.
I'm curious now, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm curious. Like, I would love to hear, like, what else has happened.
Let's see, this was 6 days ago. Do we have any updates or any responses?
Let's see if there's any updates. I'm sure there's many responses in there. Oh, yeah, he was mentioning that he's a wild magic sorcerer, and that was from 3 days ago. So here's one. Not necessarily a update, but a comment he made a day after he made this post. To fill some of the questions, as I did play my game today, that character is dead. It's a story point now for the other player involved because his boss is dead. That's it. I rolled a new character for session 1. DM says I messed with a high-level NPC and paid the price for it. It was more of a session 0.5 than a true session 0. My DM basically doesn't want us to feel like the main characters as we are low-level nobodies and want us to feel like we are in a gritty environment. So I guess it is technically an update. One that, because I got to this the day it was posted, so I didn't see this update from it.
Yeah, I agree with that poster there.
DM says I messed with a high-level NPC and paid the price for it. So this is someone replying to what OP just said. Red flag. That's the kind of thing you're supposed to discuss in session 0, not experience. So another reply. I hope you take no offense from this, but your DM is a fucking loser. Like, that's Jesus Christ. As Murph would say, find new friends. But in all seriousness, no D&D is better than bad D&D. And the more you play with this DM, sinking time in, the harder it will be for you to leave, which is what you should do. DM is obviously combative, which is always a terrible sign, unless the party is just as interested in power gaming and fucking the DM over.
Which is an acceptable dynamic for some people.
Yeah. Like, so here's the thing, right? As Fluff just said, the whole ultra gritty, because you exist in a world that you are not always the main character, and you would exist in an entire world. You do not get to be the main character. Sometimes there are going to be things outside of your control and things are popping up. Like, that is a way to play. Because it is D&D. There is no right way to play D&D. There is no right way to do DMing. There is no right way to be a player in D&D. However, there is a right and wrong in how you communicate and how you implement this into your game. Mm-hmm. I love being antagonistic to my players. Don't get me wrong. I love antagonizing the fuck out of you guys and being mildly combative when you start doing shit like playing a fucking Aarakocra Fighter Echo Knight in my goddamn first session, you bitch.
I may have taken advantage of you. I will admit.
He did do that.
He did that. But there's the part of it's still like the fact that it blindsided this player as a possibility in a new even if it's set within the same world, it's still a new campaign that you're starting back at level 1 in a session 0. Like, that's the kind of thing you hint to your player. Like, hey, letting y'all know as we start to get into this, understand that because we're playing in the same world, there are consequences from your Actually, what consequence? They're starting at level 1.
Yeah.
And it seems like these are new. Did he say they're new characters?
Yeah.
Cooked up a fun, interesting character. Yeah, this is a brand new character. You good? Sweet. Sorry. You're good.
No, that was my throat.
Well, it seems like, my hope, I should say, I don't want to seem, my
Right.
hope is that the character, that this guy, when he's writing the second post, he's reflecting on how his character handled the interactions with the CR8 assassins, and is like, oh yeah, you know what? Actually, I could have made XYZ choice, right? And so there were maybe my play style wasn't oriented to that, but still I put that on the DM personally. Right. Like if a lot of people are used to like dungeon crawl style or D&D where your only option is, there's a bad guy, I'm hitting with my stick. Right.
I really wish you would have responded to this one. So this is another reply to that last like update comment we just read. Mm-hmm. First of all, messed with a high-level NPC sounds a bit like metagaming to actually know they are high-level characters unless their aesthetic is clearly of a trained fighter. Now, what I will say is it seems like this comment is interpreting that messed with a high-level NPC is your character specifically messed with these assassins. You made a deliberate attempt to mess with these assassins. When I read it, I took that as he messed with another high-level NPC that sent people after him or some shit. And to continue on, and they ambushed you. Didn't you say it was a CR8 encounter? If they really want to kill you, there's no escaping, I believe. Yeah. It sounds more like your DM is power tripping than anything. They want to let you know he's the god of the game. I could be wrong. If this is a good friend of yours, give them a few sessions to feel the vibe, but be prepared to get out of the table if it doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm. We're going to run a session 0 like this.
So
we're going to run a session 0 like this.
I'm fucking down. I mean, in fairness, I've had this happen before, technically, even though it was more of a condensed campaign than it was a session 0. Remember, I don't remember if y'all were there. No, Molly was there, so y'all must have been. Well, at least y'all would have been at Ferris at the time. I can't say y'all were at this thing, but a friend of ours ran GURPS for us one night, like after classes. And because like we literally set up the characters, had everything going in like an hour and was already in the story. And like one of the first me meeting another character got me killed immediately. And that was just the end of that.
I think I was there. I don't remember like anything that happened though. I gave GURPS is wild. I gave my characters so many negative traits. Right? They get so many positive traits.
If y'all have never played GURPS or had a chance to play GURPS and you play tabletops, you should. It's the wild. Wackiest shit. GURPS is generic universal roleplay system, I believe is the acronym. Mm-hmm. But it is literally it is a system for you to set up literally anything. You could be superheroes, you can be like 1950s gangsters, you can be Marvel style,
space aquatic
bullshit. One of the character that killed me, as a matter of fact, was a dinosaur, and this was a dinosaur in the middle of like some metropolitan area in an era in which I was also playing like a Matt Murdock-esque character, not Daredevil, but like well, I guess technically, yeah, of like blind dude with martial art like prowess. It's real wacky. It's very wacky. But yeah, it's like it literally not even 10 minutes into us playing, my character was dead. But that's because my character rolled bad and her character rolled kind of weird and killed me instantly. I got stepped on by a stegosaurus.
Yikes.
In the middle of like New York. It was weird. He got trampled by a bunch of buffalo. I killed him all by having to go trample in front of a bunch of buffalo, and it was traumatic.
No coming back from that.
No coming back from that shit. But yeah, it's
my badge.
Oh God, I wish
they would give me more. What more?
To answer a few of the questions I've been seeing, he was a wild magic sorcerer. Oh, this was the update that I read the day of. To answer a few questions I've been seeing, he was a wild magic sorcerer, not any kind of power build, just a fun character I made. He was a noble who liked to solve puzzles, so he did freelance detective work. The reasons the assassins jumped us was because I used the light cantrip to blind the person following me when my counterpart grabbed her. Turns out she was some lady who worked for the king, so assaulting her was an offense, so I get to die. Okay, so it was just literally, it wasn't an action from the previous campaign. It was literally, what the fuck was that? You nasty bitch.
That was my digestive system.
Okay. Was it the middle of it or the end of the digestive system?
No, it wasn't a fart.
Okay.
I've been farting this whole time.
I know you have.
I went to my doctor about it a couple times because I was worried. I was like,
hey.
does your digestive system ever, like, I felt weird asking him too, because it was in high school.
Yeah.
And it always happened in history class specifically. And it was always the teacher. I hated the teacher, and the teacher hated me because he was the basketball coach of the high school. And of course, I'm not that great.
Fucked your leg up, yeah?
I fucked my leg up trying to impress him, but I already knew he hated me because I was terrible at basketball. Like, I was not good. But I was still on the team.
That's a fucked up reason to hate a student, but I also find that an on par reason to hate a student.
I mean, I also felt that he was a little bit racist. But
that's possible.
But no, it always happened in his class when it was the quietest. I didn't know. And there's nothing I can do. I can't do anything. I tried to like tighten up a little bit, straighten up, sit up, clench. Nothing worked. It just happened.
It was just happened. And he's like, God damn it, Kenton.
And it always sounds like I'm farting, but I'm not. And anytime anybody asks, it's
the
like
part where he says that.
that smells like a nigga fart.
Oh my goodness.
But no, like it always happened. And so I went to my doctor. I was like, so is it normal for like, it's not a stomach tummy growl. It's like a digestion, like moan. and I felt dumb because there was a pause. And he looks at me and he's like, that's normal. It's digesting your, and I'm like, okay, but you don't understand. It's loud. And he's like, yeah, no, that's normal. It happens. And I'm like, no one else does it, sir. I've never heard
anyone else do this.
I'm the only one with the Looney Tunes ass tummy.
Like, either everybody else admits it's a fart and you can smell it.
Yeah.
Or it's me. That's it. Like, there's no in between.
Well, now you have video proof and evidence of it. You can bring to him.
Yes.
And figure out what's going on. Turns out you have actually, never mind. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, that's gross.
No, I want to hear you say it. I'm curious.
What did you think I was going to say?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, you say it first. No, you say it first.
I want to know what both of y'all were thinking.
I'll go first. I thought he was going to say ass cancer.
Yeah, actually.
I was going to say anal fistula.
Okay, that works out better.
What is that?
You don't want to look it up. Actually, look it up.
Just as fast as I've looked up blue pancakes or waffles or whatever the shit.
Yeah. That's Patreon content. I'm constantly incontinent.
Anywho, sorry, YouTube watchers and Spotify watchers. If you want to know what that's about, better go pay that $1 to the Patreon. Anywho,
if we didn't lose the audio,
nah, they stay around. They're degenerates just like us.
Video.
Oh yeah, no, we have the video, so it's okay. So, there's so many times in the recent episodes where it's like I'm just running off phone audio because I'd never realized. Like in episode 19, there's a moment where audio goes out and we don't realize for like 5 minutes.
No,
but it's okay. It is what it is.
Damn.
Hey, fucking pay us, bitches, so we can get better equipment.
Is there a way to set up like a audio alert when it cuts out, stops recording?
It could be. I don't know. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
Python script it.
Probably could. Honestly, if I dig into the settings, there might literally be a tone for starting and stopping. What's it called? But something to look at another day. So anywho, back to D&D. Yeah, fuck that DM. That is not, if your whole deal is, okay, so like we said, or like Fluffy said, like if this is about like your ultra gritty, all your actions have consequence kind of world, that's fine. But there's better ways to implement it than this. Like going, oh, you blinded a noble woman And so the assassins popped out, and so you had to die. Like, that's so unnecessary when you don't know that that's the world you're playing in yet.
Also, using the light cantrip to blind a person would be like...
I held up my I held up this lighter.
Yeah, like literally like surprise lighter sparks, and then they're like... And they stab you in the throat, right? Like, not a proportionate response. It's not necessarily even something you should be able to use that for.
So a person actually replies to this and brings up like a fantastic point. From what you're saying, it sounds like your DM is inexperienced and messed up the actions have consequences part. Once again, we're ignoring the part where this is from a previous, this DM and group is all from a previous campaign. This is not a brand new DM, but we'll get there. I can kind of see what they were going for, but killing a noble for temporarily blinding someone who works for the king is a very bad move for any king who wants to keep his throne, and any assassin skilled enough to work for the king would know that. No lasting harm came to the king's servant, so your family would rightfully be pissed at his gross overreaction. Talk calmly, think book Dumbledore, not movie Dumbledore, with your DM and ask them to walk this back. Maybe the PC who escaped believed that their character died, but they actually got captured. And at the start of the session one, the rest of the party is given a quest by the king for something, and you're taxed to go along with them to make amends. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. If your DM can agree to undo this or come to another mutually satisfactory solution, then just leave, man. In that case, it's likely that more incidents like this will keep happening. Like, yeah, it's even if we're going off in-universe logic here, like the DM is trying to do, that logic doesn't make sense because
logic's not logical.
Popping out and killing the noble and letting the person who works for the noble go doesn't make sense.
Yeah, if I was their family, we would have some problems.
There'd be a lot of problems. But I don't think we really get any more of an update from this OP about the situation. Mini Sweep Karma, I have no idea what that's about. Oh, he didn't. They watched Distractable. Hell yeah. Anyway, yeah, it seems like they don't really mention much more about it other than that. There's ways to do that. And that doesn't involve being an absolute dick about it. But anyway, okay, let's get to some stuff we've been trying to get to for like 4 weeks.
Like me with Hinge.
Yeah.
That's
I think those are done, bud.
Yeah, no.
I don't know, man. Get back in and shoot the shot. All right, Kent.
Yeah.
Game Radar.
Game Radar, yes. So this was I kind of taking it back to the Nintendo Direct that we watched almost a month ago now. Yeah.
That's right. You were gone.
That's right.
I've been excluded.
That's the one he was going. You were thinking about. We watched the Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Off. What were you doing? Camping with your family or some shit?
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Spending quality time with your loved ones. What kind of fucking plebeian are you?
Shameful.
Love on my quality time.
But no, like initially when the Direct dropped, I tuned in late and didn't see this announcement because this announcement was like first in the Direct. So when we watched it back, that was the first time I saw it, and it didn't really fully process to me like what it was exactly. And so I looked up a couple videos after we recorded to get a better idea on what exactly this is. And this is a way bigger deal, at least to me, than I thought it was. And I am the most excited for this game than I have been for any game in a long time. I was gonna
say, I was kind of shocked when we were initially watching this. You were like, "Oh, they're just remaking Mario and Luigi."
Yeah, and then
I was like,
and then the Brothership showed up, and I'm like, "Wait, no, I think this is a new one."
They're fucking.
And then I realized after we watched it during that recording, I was like, "Wait, I'm definitely gonna have to go back and watch this later," because like this seems like I should care about this a lot.
Yeah.
And I do.
Yeah.
I really do. For a long time, when Mario RPG, Super Mario RPG came out, or the remake rather, came out not too long ago. I think the end of last year, right?
Super Mario
or
RPG?
beginning of the remake.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm trying to remember exactly when that came out.
I feel like beginning of this year.
Something like that. I don't know.
So when did you play it?
At some point. I bought it and played it like religiously all the way through.
I'm
to the
fairly
end.
certain you played it after Gizmo. Yeah, no, because we were a few episodes into the podcast by the time we even talked about it. So I'm fairly certain that was this year.
It was one of the maybe before episode 10, I think. We probably started.
It might have been
talking
around
about
there.
it. Yeah.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, y'all probably know. If you've been listening this long so far, you probably already know. You could timestamp it, probably. You already know.
Could, yeah.
But that was a big deal because I really enjoyed those games growing up, playing them on my DS. And I know that wasn't like when the first one dropped, but that's the first couple ones that I remembered.
Mm-hmm.
The first one that I remember having was actually Partners in Time with Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. And there were some really cool mechanics in that game that I loved a lot, that I felt like some of the the games that followed that game didn't necessarily live up to. I don't know. That was still my favorite game of all of these type of RPG Mario and Luigi games that have come out. And I realized after rewatching this back that they brought a lot of those mechanics from Partners in Time into this new Mario and Luigi Brothership game.
Oh.
That I didn't know I missed so much. And it took this video to kind of like break it down for me. And almost every like realization, I was like, oh my gosh, that's right. I missed this. This is what I've been wanting.
Right. Speaking of, the video in question here is Everything You Missed in Mario and Luigi Brothership reveal trailer by Nintendo Land.
And so far, I still think we only have like that reveal trailer. I don't think Nintendo's dropped anything, else that's like solidifying or anything.
Isn't that
more revealing?
The number 10.
Yep.
Land. Okay.
Nin 10 Doland.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So again, like, I don't know, the premise of everything, the mechanics, it all just feels just like similar to that game that I played back in the day. Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be really, really good.
Nice.
And it seems like a lot of people who are, fans of the Mario and Luigi RPG type-esque series are also really pumped for this. Because again, it's bringing back a lot of those mechanics. A lot of the same, the items that you can use now. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. And the animation looks so good. Like a whole new fresh take on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It gets me excited because if this goes well for Nintendo, we could be seeing kind of a new revival of sorts of this type of, series on the Switch, or kind of reimagined in a more 3D space, because I think a lot, or if not most, of these type of RPG style games
have been historically 2D.
Yeah, have been historically 2D, or like 3D sprites that went on 2D, whatever, like rendered sprites or whatever,
Mario RPG style.
Yeah.
Which I would say there's a certain.
We're
speaking specifically to the Mario Luigi series. There's a certain charm to that. It's not to hijack this, because I honestly have nothing to say about Mario Luigi as a series, but we were talking to Kiwi when we were talking about like Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. That's a game that, as I think about if we ever get a remake of that, I don't know if I'd ever want it updated to 3D, because it's so charming in 2D. But you as the Mario Luigi fan would know better.
I mean, I think when it comes to style, I feel like a matter of perspective. It's subjective to the point where it's like, I really enjoy, there's always going to be a place in my heart for like the old, classic 2D style, right? That I fell in love with before.
Right.
But at the same time, I would love nothing more than to see that like Partners in Time remastered or whatever Nintendo wants to call it, HD,
HD remake, remastered, redone, redo,
2.3. I don't know,
featuring Funky Kong and Knuckles,
freeze. But like I would love to see a remake that is of a 3D style, just because, like, I don't know, I didn't play the first original Super Mario RPG on whatever device that came out on initially.
SNES, I believe.
Probably.
I believe it was SNES.
Like I didn't play that, and I'm sure I would have loved it, but I really enjoyed this 3D remake that they did. I think they did a good job.
Oh, I loved you too.
So I don't know. I think it would be fire just to see them remake. And I know I hate like bolstering up like, oh, remakes, because it's like, oh, well, they already did that. And I think a lot of current culture and video games and movies and shows, it's like, okay, remake. We have to do a remake.
I will say this at least with Nintendo, they put out new content enough that's never been a bother to me. Getting old classics remade for modern hardware, there is a world where that would upset me. It is the world where Nintendo. There's a reason I said that.
There's a reason you 40s looked at.
Yeah,
your mind said remake. Oh, Disney. Oh my god.
There's a world where Nintendo takes a leaf out of Disney's book, and they just have like a fucking 10+ year run of everything they put out is just a remake of an old thing. That would upset me quickly. But Nintendo has, at least up till now, has been putting out new stuff along with it. Like we got Super Mario RPG, but we also got Mario Wonder, right? Yeah. Like,
well, guess what? Disney owns everything, so they are putting out new content all the time.
If you look at it,
that feels great. We live in a monopolistic entertainment society.
Does Disney own Nintendo?
No,
they're trying to.
Oh my god! If that happens, it's over.
I'm trying to remember. I say that I don't know if Disney has ever tried to buy Nintendo. I'm
sure they would love.
I'm sure they would love it. They would love to have Nintendo under their umbrella because that would pretty much solidify them as a. I don't know if they'd even get away with that because that would basically solidify them as an entertainment. They're already an entertainment monopoly, but
I mean, this is probably wrong, but I want to say like the closest that they've like gotten to some kind of merger thing, maybe Smash Bros. But I could be totally wrong with that.
That depends on how you're trying to use the term merger. I would say that is probably the closest we're ever going to get to a Nintendo Disney merger.
How?
Sora
got put in Smash Bros. Right at the end. He was the last DLC character, and it was the biggest deal.
It was like, ginormous. Dude.
A company not named Square Enix was finally able to get a Disney character into their fucking video game. We couldn't get Mickey Mouse, but we could get.
But we got his.
Got his symbol in a Nintendo game,
which again. They had to pay out the ass, I'm sure, to even get that in there.
Yeah. And to be clear, this is not the first time we've had a Disney IP on a Nintendo console. Like that has been done many a times. Both Epic Mickey 1, 2, and I think there was a third one on the DS. Either way, there's been plenty of Disney games, like licensed Disney games on Nintendo consoles, but to have even Disney adjacent characters show up in Smash Bros was a huge deal. One of the funniest things to happen in like Nintendo history was when Microsoft tried to like approach Nintendo for buying it out, and Nintendo fucking laughed them out of the room. Nintendo just started to laugh and just kept laughing until they left. I don't know if that's 100% true. That's probably how
they laughed their asses off. Former Microsoft third-party relations head Kevin Bacchus told Bloomberg. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. It's Bachus. I don't know.
I'd say Bacchus.
Like imagine an
and Bacchus got a weird case. Why is he around?
Laughing at you. That was kind of how that
certified
went.
Lover boy.
Yeah.
Just an hour of it?
Yeah, of them like, are you trying to buy one of like a crazy profitable, like
I was reading that on Distractify.
yeah. That's the story as I remember it too. Of like you just got laughed at and they kept laughing at you and they didn't stop laughing at you. Because what a lot of people don't know is that Nintendo is more than just fucking video games. They are not just a video game company.
Mm-hmm.
Yakuza.
Oh, well, that too.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I didn't say that. Nintendo, please.
But like even more than video games, like Nintendo has their hand in a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One of their other biggest ventures is like medical equipment and ULL stuff. Yeah. Like it doesn't make any fucking sense, but it also makes sense because it's like the same engineering that goes into creating a game console can go into making like giant hardware and equipment and shit. Like, so Nintendo has their hands in a few pies.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it's kind of like finding out. Oh, 1 second. It's kind of like finding out that other
Rub it in my face. What else?
Not in front of the camera. That's for OnlyFans, all right?
That's for the only.
Fair enough.
No, we're not. No. Why did I even say that out loud? Anyway, continue.
Patreon.com/ It's kind of like finding out that most of the major manufacturers in the United States also manufacture military arms.
Yeah.
Or have some sort of like branch.
Have some branch in that, which is disgusting, but also it's free money. Like
military industrial complex, baby.
if you run a business, getting military contracts and defense contracts is a lucrative endeavor. If you can convince them that what you're doing
is valuable,
or you can do something that's valuable to the U.S. government, they will just throw money at you.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid.
It's stupid, but respect the hustle.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like
I respect the hustlers, not the U.S. government.
Easily. And honestly, most
Do
of
you
the
guys
hustlers
see
I don't
that
respect
Senate
either.
hearing where the guy holds up the bag of bushings that cost like $90,000?
No.
I need to verify this before but
Okay.
it was a stupid amount of money.
I just saw a video today of this like little pocket drone, and it's like this $100,000 drone.
Motherfucker, I can find one of those for like $400. What are you talking about?
Like,
It's like, no, they really just put a price tag on shit and it don't mean nothing except knowing that the American government will just pay out the ass for it because nobody in that chain looks at prices and knows how much shit actually costs.
I used military carbon fiber to make the body.
So, fun fact about the term military grade. If anything claims to use military grade shit,
It's just because it's being used in something for the military.
There's that, and also it's the cheapest shit you can get. Like, if something was military grade, it was the stuff you got because you could produce it in mass easily. And you can get it shipped out. It's
True.
only like recently that the idea of military grade, it means like the super
It's
highest
rugged.
end stuff and
It's
super
tough.
rugged and tough. It's like, no, military grade meant it was super easy to produce.
Which is sort of true because, like, an AK-47 is rugged and tough.
Yeah.
But it's also mass produced.
Yeah. Like being military grade is not a qualifier of quality. It is a qualifier. It is like a qualifier of how easy it can be produced in mass. U.S. Air Force pays $90,000 for a bag of bushings. And it's not like being facetious. Fucking make sure to send this to me or take a screenshot of this and send it to me. Like, we're not talking like, oh, he's holding like this gigantic, hard to pick up sack of like tool part. No, it's literally a handheld. Like, he's just holding it up with a single hand.
3 to 6 pounds of metal.
Maybe 3 to 6 pounds of metal. I'll try to make sure to have a picture up here to show what we're talking about. And they pay $90,000. Fucking. This is what he's holding up. He's holding up something that takes about the same effort and is about the same size as what I'm holding up right now. This was $90K for some mass manufactured pieces that if you went to Fastenal and got the same amount, probably would run you maybe $25.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
So, how are we getting military funding again?
I'm working on it.
We can provide you with some military
Now
grade
listen, sir,
strategies.
you have a compelling interest in this podcast existing. All right, the United States, American Navy Forces has a compelling interest in maintaining the Kingz After Dark podcast.
Yep.
I just don't know what that is.
Don't know why yet, but I trust you. If you pay us, we'll find out.
I mean, hey, strategy.
Strategize.
We'll help you.
Get on it quickly, mate. You know, China might come in and buy us out. You never know.
We know, though.
Mm-hmm.
And you could, too.
You could, too. You buy us out
What's
first.
in
We are
Guantanamo
all
Bay.
like hands tied behind our backs, black bags over our head. We were kidding, you motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Like-
no, wait, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. We don't work for other governments. No, no,
In-game
no.
FBI.
No, I meant you needed to hire us, not we were working
Now
for
we
other
were
governments.
Like, God damn. Shit.
That backfired.
Backfired hard. All right. Anything
But
else to say
yeah.
about Mario Luigi?
No, I'm excited for it. It basically looks like they're gonna be one piecing around, which is cool. So yeah, I'm hyped. I'm all for it. You'll see me talk about it when it drops because I'm gonna get it like as soon as it does. So
Heckin' yeah. All right. I love Tony.
he's so good.
Tony's
I don't know if I know this
Statovsky.
man.
Yeah, I don't know how to say his last name either.
Statovsky. He's stupid popular on TikTok. Fluff, it is crazy that you've never seen any of his content.
A lot
I'm
of his
not on TikTok very much anymore.
True.
A lot
Even
of
on
his
TikTok,
clips-
he's on YouTube and Facebook. As a matter of fact, this comes from Facebook, actually.
Let's see. Are we gonna lose?
Yep.
Yep,
yeah.
that's why I'm pausing for a quick second to give us a clean break, just in case this does go out.
Yeah, a lot of his clips and sound bites on TikTok too have just gone viral.
He does you've definitely heard this clip. Black people, really.
I don't. Not to my memory.
Anyway, I've seen this song like weeks ago, but like,
Oh yeah,
are we doing this?
I don't know why it's doing that.
Oh, okay. I guess, yeah, trust Facebook. Well, don't trust Facebook, but trust it.
Oh, the four nations live together in harmony. Then your people came to be. If y'all wondering who finna win this rap battle, all arrows point to me. Okay.
It's so good.
It's real, like he's like such. Obviously, I guess as a creator, he knows how to come up with this thing. He has time to like sit and script it and shit like that. Because obviously, you're not doing that off the top of your head.
Mhm.
But it's still so good, though.
It's the creativity for me. Like almost all of his videos too are hit similarly.
Right.
And of course, like, yeah, it's like a lot of, anime or show stuff, but even a lot of relatables, like the black people,
Yeah.
like one,
Yeah.
like that shit was hilarious. And then everybody caught on and started using that soundbite.
Yeah.
And he was even like, y'all,
I
like,
need y'all.
I did not mean for the, like,
That's not what I meant.
he actually started posting like the actual video of like where it came
Yeah.
from because people were like starting to be like, where did this soundbite come from? You're like, no, please.
Yeah.
It's a joke. But I don't know. He's just a really cool seeming dude.
Yeah.
Even seeing some of his more serious, I think.
Also, I
Instagram
will say,
stuff, but
way skinnier than I thought. Like, way skinnier than I say this. It's not respectful at all. I'm sorry, bro. But like, I love you, but your head belies what the rest of your body looks like.
most of his videos
He got a fat head.
It's like seeing my head and then someone with the body shape of you or Izzy like walks like in full body pictures. Is like, that's not what I expected at all. But okay, sound off, homie.
Right.
Oh man.
But no, I just like, again, I wanted to talk about this like a month or so ago. I think that video is a little more newer, even though that still might be not as new anymore.
Right.
Even then. But like, I don't know, I just wanted to highlight him and his stuff because I think he's doing some really hilarious, cool,
this guy
things.
with a few million views on Constant and a few million followers.
Yeah.
Just doing our part to make sure a small channel can grow, buddy.
Yeah. Shout out, little something.
We're just trying to help you.
Yeah.
You know how to pity.
Oh my goodness, why
That's
is my
funny.
mouse not working? Anywho, finally, what day? Just random.
This image, it popped up on my feed, and I had so many emotions reading it, and I just needed you guys.
Oh,
to read
this
it too.
fucking thing! I've read this.
It was in the group of I'm not reading that, but I'm happy for you or sorry that happened. And it's,
Jesus, the fucking quality.
I think it was also in the group of if this had any less pixels, it would be like there's a group that I'm following.
Yes.
If there was any less pixels, it would be I forget exactly what the punchline of the group name is. But
Oh my god, the
it was
internet is
also
undefeated.
there.
People who sleep naked, when has it backfired? And this is the
So-
dumbest.
So this person is I don't know what is this on Reddit? What is this?
Yeah, it starts on Reddit and Ask Reddit. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So this person says, well, one time my sister was hiding in my closet to wait for a bit until I was almost asleep so she could scare me. Unfortunately, she didn't know I was whacking it, and she jumped out to scare me right as I came, which ended up going all over her face and into her mouth. My mom heard the commotion and came into my room to investigate, and after seeing me naked and my sister covered in my jizz, she got the wrong idea. To make a long story short, I now have to fuck both of them every night so they don't tell my girlfriend. And I was like, my brain. That was a roller coaster of 30 seconds that I just read. And I can't be the only one who's going through this turmoil. So
It wasn't until he got to the now I have to fuck both of them that I was like, because at first I was like, there's no way your sister just knew when you were half asleep and was able to time it perfectly to you be half asleep. Also, she just like didn't hear you fucking jacking it.
There's
Like,
no way.
There's no way. And then it gets to and now I have to fuck both of them every night. And I was like, okay, this is a shit post. Sweet. I can go back to living my life now.
Yeah, I just thought it was pretty funny, but
Yeah,
also
no,
like,
it was.
interesting.
But I started the headspace where I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. So now I just have the ick real bad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you know it's not real, but at the same time, the fact that you maybe think it might be for a second makes you feel weird.
It's just.
So yeah, that's a random thing that came up on my feed for some reason.
You don't have to show.
You gotta
this
call
one.
it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say thank you, but you can shove it.
Damn, Fluff. I was gonna say thank you, but nah, you can shove it. Oh, that's what this was. That's right. Speaking of random, but on the opposite end of random, the cool end of random. I'm not in this group, but one of my friends on my Facebook timeline shared this image or this post, which is a collection of images, which for all my fucking Pokemon nerds out there and people that just love like dark fantasy art, some of the coolest like Pokemon crossover art I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
is this the artist?
It's AI,
here?
isn't it?
Or is it
excuse
AI?
me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
That's definitely AI.
Are you sure?
It's AI. Okay, from Threads. And we're not going to click that link. So they are AI generated, but that's pretty decent AI. But I mean, it lends itself very well because it's using like a weird blended video game 2D aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was fucking sick. And this is some really cool art and a cool like mix of Pokemon into a aesthetic that works shockingly well. Like, it's not quite Ghibli. It's a little it's like Ghibli if it was less whimsical.
It's got a little more of a cell shaded 3D look to it.
A little bit, yeah. But I don't know. Just a little random thing I came across today. kind of worked itself out by coming into Kenton's.
I'm sad that it's AI because I really fuck with it.
I do also fuck with it a lot.
You can still, you still can.
I still will. I know there's the discourse around fucking with AI shit. I will still fuck with it. Like I liked it.
Well, it ignites like my creative passion. I find it inspiring. It makes me want to create similar works.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree with it too. Like, I agree with it is a very general term there. Let me elaborate. Yeah, like I also use, generative AI in my creative process to get ideas and concepts that I further, expand upon. I also just in general, like Fluff said, get inspired by just seeing all the cool art shit that you can do. And playing around with it. I really just used it to fuck around, honestly.
Right.
Like the image generator part of like Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Like I
want to make it clear, none of us get paid to do art. At least that's wrong, actually.
that's
actually categorically
specifically
wrong.
what I get paid to
but
do.
None of us get paid for the type of art like that's getting generated like this. Like we are not using this in reference for. Okay, let me fix up what I just said. None of us get paid for that art specifically. Like we fuck around with AI generators, and none of us are using this in a professional capacity. It doesn't get incorporated in our job. It's just a thing we do in our free time most times.
I will say I am using it for some wedding like menu printout stuff. So that's fun. Like
I use
imagery.
it for my PowerPoint to generate pictures of a cloud I want to fuck.
A cloud, you say?
I'm glad I have the background context for this, but
Insert the picture of the cloud here.
No.
Okay.
It's just a purple cloud. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I used the keyword sexy and ethereal, so
Fair enough.
When you
actually
look,
I will show you guys pictures of the cloud. You can't avoid this now.
Look up. Well, no, you're gonna show me something, but you also need to look up this character from Paper Mario. That is literally a purple cloud.
That bitch? No.
I don't remember her name.
Oh, Madam something.
Yeah. Flurry.
Where?
Madam Flurry.
That's not what I clicked on at all.
Why did it auto-correct it to that?
No.
Oh,
Are you a nude?
Are you nude?
They had a plush?
Of course they did.
What?
What?
Was it official?
Wait, that's got to be fake.
It's got to be.
Okay,
no, that's
Etsy.
Etsy. That's a
Okay,
custom plush.
okay, all right. I was like, there's no way Nintendo would actually.
Oh, they would.
What?
If Nintendo was a business, if they could make money, they would do it.
I like the part where this isn't. It's not even a cloud. It's actually an explosion. It's smoke more than anything.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
But it is kind of sick looking.
Who put a mustache on?
Who do you
Me.
think? A shitty. not even cut out the mustache.
No. What it looked like is you typed PNG,
Yep.
mustache PNG, and just
Yep.
like thought that.
Yeah, I grabbed it and I was like, you know what? It looks better if I just leave it. It looks a hell of a lot funnier.
It's so much funnier just doing it this way. Oh my god! The fact that the hat itself is an actual PNG
It also adds to it, doesn't it? It's so good.
The hat's a cut out PNG, but the fucking mustache is just a JPEG image just slapped there.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking goodness!
Thank you for appreciating my art.
Oh god!
Yeah. And do you know what's actually even funnier with this that I just noticed?
Yeah.
How it says there's 5 left in stock, but 1 in a cart.
Are you?
Like who has this in their cart contemplating like
Can I really afford to get some Amazon plush this month?
when is my next payday so that I can actually purchase this? There's 2,000 reviews.
oh wow.
That's got to be for the store. That
I don't
can't be
know.
just for this, Kenton.
No, it is.
5 reviews for this item, 2,000 for the shop. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Even still, though, what is that? What is that?
Great quality item, just like the picture. It goes in the Paper Mario collection.
The next one.
My son loves it. He said it looks better in person than it did in the picture.
Your son cut a slit, man.
Amazing customer service, wonderful item quality, and very reasonable pricing for what you're receiving. Absolutely would recommend this seller.
Fake.
Never trust a 5-star review, y'all. Excellent quality plush. One of my favorite obscure characters. Thank you so much. Toyland is always the best when it comes to custom plush. Bless you. My flurry is great quality and super soft. Bless you again. Really love the individual beads in her necklace and extra details that make her seem identical to the game. Would definitely...
Fuck. ...
There it is.
Is that? Oh, okay. Would definitely recommend.
Just would.
Would definitely would definitely would definitely recommend this seller too. She's super friendly and kind. Hoping to order again soon.
I love that.
Just would definitely because no one has ever done the overflow text this way. So on Etsy, apparently, if there's more text than what's able to be displayed immediately, instead of having a drop down arrow or a see more like button, it uses the ... menu button, the one that usually says click for more options.
Insert an ellipses and then have an ellipses button.
Yeah,
but the way that they insert the ellipses makes it indistinguishable from the existing text, so it's deeply unclear if it's cutting it off or not.
It's
especially in this context.
It's someone letting slip their fetishes without actually saying what their fetish is.
They planned this. They knew the character limit.
You know
they
what?
knew the character limit.
Oh
my goodness!
That way too.
Comes from Ukraine apparently. It's a Ukraine company, or say company, a Ukraine.
There's a video.
Oh, there is a video. The wildest part. If you're listening to this on Spotify, you're not looking at the video right now. The wildest part is that the tits are separate. Like, the boobs on this thing are separate pieces, individually separate by that. Like, there are just 2 D-sized tits on this thing. Holy shit.
How big are the lips on the character model?
They're
fucking gigantic.
Big,
like, that's kind of her deal.
People's tits.
The thing is, it's not that far off.
It's not that far off.
Like, they're doing a pretty good job.
Her hairstyle's a little interesting.
Her hairstyle's a little funky.
A little funky, but
like, for a character that Nintendo's probably not going to try to... It's crazy that got passed through anyway.
I was just about to say, how did that character design get passed?
So that's the fun thing about Mario.
Somebody else really liked Lieutenant Frawl, okay?
Yeah. That's the fun thing about Mario the 1,000-Year Door is it is the general consensus that the 1,000-Year Door is the reason Nintendo started clamping down so hard on all other Paper Mario games. Until they finally are starting to they're re-releasing it this year or next year, one of the two. But it was like the 1,000-Year Door was fucking out there with a lot of their character, their story choices, their dialogue choices. It seemed like they got the go ahead and a green light and not a lot of overhead. And they were like, well, we're going to fucking do this then, shan't we? Like, they were...
That's kind of what I liked about it.
That's what everybody loved about it, but not Nintendo. Not at the time, anyway.
We don't want to be seen this way as our family-friendly brand.
It was very much like...
We can't put Link in drag. Think of the children.
Oops.
Yeah. I didn't even care that much, but it is upsetting that they took away Link's drag outfit in Tears of the Kingdom.
Did they do that on purpose? Did you ever find out?
The fact that it's not available and it's the only armor set that's not available lets me know it was deliberate. It was very deliberate. Not only did they take away... Actually, was Desert Vo armor a thing in Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, it was. They still kept the Vo store.
Okay, they kept the Vo store, but the Vi armor is not there. And it's the only one taken away, and there's no way to get it. You can get literally every other piece of armor from Breath of the Wild except that outfit. I don't know why. Like I'd never.
It's not like they released a statement. At least not the one that we've seen. Over
Yeah,
here.
there was no immediate statement, but I think that would be in their worst interest. Would be to release a statement for why they got rid of it.
Barbara Streisand themselves.
Yeah, right. Because there's nothing they could say other than, hey, we did sensitivity training and like the drag community told us like this was deeply offensive to them or some shit. Because anything other than that, the removal of that is wildly offensive to like anybody. And like, like it doesn't read as anything other than homophobic.
Yeah.
Or transphobic, queerphobic, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So who knows? But yeah, 1,000 Year Door gets a lot of its praise because of its like humor and out there style. But there's that's also because people look at all the Paper Mario games that came subsequent to it and was like, it became real clear that Nintendo was like, you will never again, you fucking weirdos. But it seems hopefully they're easing up because, like I said, I think they are re-releasing 1,000 Year Door again.
They did.
I keep looking at the model that they have down there.
Down
different parts.
Oh yeah.
How many different tit shapes do they have for her?
Why did you draw my attention to this? God damn it.
Is that an actual sprite sheet?
I think so. I didn't
He's
want
saving
that.
it. He's saving it.
I just wanted to open the image up. The fuck?
I had to
that's
save
why.
it because it wouldn't open.
Yeah, those are tit shapes.
Are those tit shapes? Cheek
Oh, okay.
shapes?
Those ones don't seem to be.
Oh, they're cheeks. Yeah, some of them are
Okay.
cheeks. I think a couple of them are boobs. The others are cheeks.
Oh yeah, the ones to the. Okay, yeah, I see which ones are to the left and up a couple.
I very much wish they would have labeled what they were. Oh man.
Booba 1, Booba 2.
Booba 1, Booba 2. No, these are the cheeks.
Those are the
Those are the
cheeks. Yeah.
What are they?
Though the ones on
these
the
two are
left
titties.
have to be the titties.
For sure.
So
But they
what the
changed
fuck are-
size.
Oh, the arms. The arm bulges.
Oh,
that makes so much
that
more
makes
I was
more sense.
So confused.
That's
Yeah.
why they're next to the hands.
Yeah.
Izzy, don't just insert your own machinations on this thing.
Is get the
okay?
fuck out of my house. No.
Why are her closed eyes so much smaller than her open ones? Or am I misreading that?
I think you're
They're-
misreading something.
There's two sets of closed eyes. Or two.
Are you talking on the sprite sheet?
Yeah.
Oh, was that a Reddit post saying, "How do y'all feel about Madame Flurry?"
Close. These are her eyelids. Huh. I don't know.
Well, it's that.
Anywho,
Just move on.
how do we? God, we got all the way here from some real stupid bullshit.
Yeah. The
Um,
ADHD is starting to take over.
it is starting to take over. Speaking
It's
of letting your ADHD take over, you got a quick manhwa to whip up for us today?
All right. Let's see.
Okie dokie.
Let's go.
Take a mild break. Okie dokie. All right. Let's wrap this up with some manhwa with fluff. Let's get back to normal form so we're not quadrupling, tripling, quintupling, centupling
But I
manhwa
love
up.
manhwa episodes where we just talk about manhwa for the whole episode.
This.
Those are my favorite episodes.
I have a new one to read actually. that I'm looking for. It was it's one I think I started reading at some point actually. Where no, it's a different one where there's like this psychotic character who just likes to fight people and he's super strong and he was taking on like a crime syndicate or some shit. I was reading it from TikTok actually of all things. Just one of the TikTok slideshows was showing him just like demonizing this like crime syndicate.
Does he kill somebody with an octopus?
I wouldn't put it past him, but not in the clip that I was saying. The bottom of his shoe has star patterns, which seem to be like a bit of an important trait. We'll get to manhwa in a sec.
Was it Killer Pietro?
I honestly couldn't tell you. The thing is, they didn't put the title in it, and I didn't have time to sit and go through the comments to try and find the title. No, actually, no, the title was there. And I can't look it up because it's on my phone. But it wasn't that.
Because Killer Pietro gets kind of silly.
Yeah. It's not that art style anyway.
It's cool though.
It does seem cool.
I stopped reading it because it's a little too silly for me. But
Fair enough.
well, even when I say it's like a real mixture, an interesting mixture between like gritty reality and like suspension of disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
Like the thing about somebody killing people with an octopus was not a joke. He like corrodes people with an octopus. He like kills 3 different people with an octopus.
Okay.
All right, John
The
Wick.
same one.
Right? The same octopus.
one.
Did the octopus live?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
Peter won't like that.
right. Oh yeah. All right. Well, back to Manhwa with Fluffy. Just got a single one for y'all tonight. This one is The Night King Who Returned with a God. I returned to Earth after hunting demons in the other world for 300 years, but I did not return alone. That's a fantastic synopsis.
This one is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, because it's different from most isekai or even return isekai stories, right? Where most characters' goals are typically to either become, work under, or like exceed gods or godhood, right? In some capacity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where this guy is a paladin. He's a paladin's paladin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in universe, they try to legitimize his religious beliefs as much as possible. Kind of like the premise is almost like, what if this religious zealot was right the whole time?
Okay.
Right. And so it's thematically, I don't really know how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about it because its story is fine, but it like straight up is using like religion as a justification for like the slaughter of orcs, which
Fantastic.
in most scenarios is just justifying a race allegory of genocide.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah.
Not the biggest fan of that.
So yeah, like I don't really care for that.
But
At
God is real, and he says they're evil.
It's the
Are they like actually evil? Do they
Yeah.
act evil?
well, the thing that makes them evil is the fact that they follow the orc god and not the other pantheon.
Oh no, they're just
Oh.
others.
Yeah.
They're just the others.
And so they try to set up these situations where it seems like it's ambiguous, but then it's not ambiguous. But if you examine it with any kind of scrutiny, it's like this is.
So when you
really
say
like
it's the story tries to what did you say? They tries to affirm his religious beliefs?
well, like not even affirm his religious beliefs, but like make it so that
Or
what humanity is lacking is any sort of divinity to follow, and any sort of divinity to like bolster them.
Mhm.
Right? They're trying to make it on their own, and they're really fucking struggling. And the demons are basically working behind them with both demonic divinity and orcish divinity to fuck people over,
Of course.
right? Or fuck humanity over. And so the pantheon that he literally has them contained within his like lion heart or the heart
Mhm.
that he gets from the other world, because everything went so fucked in the world that he was fighting that was the only refuge for both the gods and the souls of the dead.
Okay.
And so when he comes back, I should say, to Korea, that he goes about starting to establish his religion, right? I don't know. So
you don't seem real enthused about this one.
I'm not really enthused. It's one of those ones where like the power scaling, the powers are interesting. The idea, like some of the things, like thematically, it's different, and that makes it kind of interesting. But anytime you actually think about what's going on in the story, you're like, I don't really fucking like this.
Like I don't feel real good about
I don't
this.
feel good about this at all, actually. In fact, I would say I feel actively bad about it.
Huh.
But
How many chapters is it out right
it's
now?
like 69.
69.
Nice.
Well, not everything can be a banger. Not everything can be a positive experience. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It is. I don't know, because especially with Eastern cultures, the use of religious iconography. Granted, I only know so much about.
It feels like somebody who's writing a story about a religious paragon without realizing all of the baggage that those symbols carry for a Western audience.
Yeah.
Which could be the case.
Which could very much be the case. It probably is the case, if we're being particularly honest, that this Korean manhwa probably wasn't thinking of the American reader, Western reader in mind. But it's still unfortunate that it's like, that's a little icky.
Well, like the thing that I don't like about it even more is but those themes in fiction affect and justify and reinforce how we think about other examples or otherisms in general.
Yeah.
Right. They're a reflection of the justifications that we use in day-to-day life, in my opinion. And so even if they're doing this with ignorance towards a Western audience, I'm still not crazy about it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's very fair. It's one of those things of like, it's the fact that like, if you start to scrutinize it and you start to see it, it's still hard to get away from. Like this, like there's been a few things where it's like, this just doesn't feel good at all. Even under the understood context of like, maybe this is not a thing they would immediately think about, but that's unfortunate. Does sound like it's an okay read otherwise. Is that a correct assessment?
Yeah.
It's a pretty okay read otherwise. If we don't think too deeply into its use of, I would say, archaic tropes for otherisms. It's the same thing with like the use of orcs in a lot of media. Or like, I guess you already said it, of like orcs have generally always been the other stand-in and the default like evil faction along with dark elves. But like where dark elves are cunning and are like evil politicians, orc are just brutish and like initially Cockney. Like that's why they have a fucking Cockney accent in Lord of the Rings. They are meant to be the riffraff and the ruffians and all that fun shit, which ends up creating this wonderful little parallel that almost every time you think of an orc, or many people think of an orc, you wind up inputting whatever your culture's other is. Which created this. Of course, I read it on Quora, but Fluff, do you know anything about WotC switching, like kind of re-theming orcs around like Mexican culture?
Who? What?
WotC being Wizards of the Coast.
Oh.
That's what people started calling them by their WOTC acronym.
So they started giving them like ponchos and sombreros.
So, like I said, this came from Quora. I didn't read super deep into it because it was just a dude going on a rant about how it's one of those things where he might have had a point, but he was definitely making it in that alt-right, I don't believe racism is a thing kind of way. But it came with an image that legitimately showed like the orc faction, but they were all like in ponchos and sombreros sitting. But the thing about the image is what it immediately said to me was, oh, there's a Western themed adventure going on and the orcs got put in it. And of course the commenter was complaining about how WotC changed them to be Mexicans because everybody complained that they were stand-ins for African Americans, even though it doesn't make sense that they'd be African Americans. And it's like, I don't really think that's true. I think the complaint is that orcs are others. And in every civilization is going to have their others, and it's the understanding of the othering of orcs and who their stand-ins could be is the issue.
Because they're orcs, it's okay for that wonton slaughter is acceptable.
Yeah.
That's
the image. Problem. That's the image I was looking at.
Which is, I think, an official PHB piece of artwork.
Really?
Yeah. Which I am not in a position to comment on.
Neither am I.
But I am.
No. Our
the
figure of the
skin.
Mexican community. Our figure of the Browns.
Figure of the Browns.
I will be the spokesperson.
I'm the one with the last name Brown.
Damn you right.
But no, it's me though.
Oh, well, fine.
That's right, because as the representative figure of all Browns, he's going to speak for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Is that
No, it's not.
I know it's not.
Wait, that's the opposite of what I was trying to say.
Yeah, well, it's defeat, all right?
No.
What is that? What is that saying?
Actually, I'll just hand it over to you.
I was going to say, is it anything worth saying?
I don't know. I just started reading it. You read faster than I do. So.
Question about those orcs in the new PHB. Boy, I hope I'm not opening a can of worms here, but I need your take on this, especially if you are Mexican or have a Mexican ancestry. I am from Spain, and I'm not sure if I understand all the outrage of some people in Twitter regarding how orcs are portrayed in the 2024 PHB. I'll be honest and say that I think some people are trying to use this to reverse the usual criticisms on TTRPGs about race and representation. But since I am from Spain and not a racialized person, maybe there is some stuff that I may be missing, so I would appreciate your take on this. Also, guys, can we please keep the discussion civil? Yeah, don't open up a conversation about racism and hope people keep it civil. Mods, please feel free to nuke this if I'm violating any rules whatsoever. Edit, I wasn't sure if my point is clear, so here it goes. I think the outrage is nonsense, and I like how orcs look there. I am Mexican American. My experience occurred as follows in order. Wow, cool. People that look like me in the art. Reads people talking about Mexican orcs. Wait, what about them is actually Mexican? Those hats aren't really sombreros. Like, the outfit is generically cowboy, but could easily be Texas or Utah or Mongolian. But somehow I just know they're Mexican. I guess it's the guy with the mustache. Still cool, I guess. Like the art and design. My brother, also Mexican American, obviously, didn't even realize they were all orcs. He thought it was a bunch of Goliaths and gnomes, and that only Mustache Man was an orc and therefore Mexican. Funny enough, right before I opened Reddit, I was on TikTok. I enjoy the TTRPG community over there, and I saw multiple videos from Mexican creators having fun with it. My favorite was the guy who said his first build was going to be a barbarian named Abuela, who used chocolates as her weapon.
Nice. Nice.
My only gripe with the illustration is that it looks too real life modern. Like, I don't get any fantasy feel from it. It looks just like a Wild West Western illustration with humans that have a strong underbite. After a few minutes on X, I suspect this outrage is actually being made up by the anti-woke crowd. So someone literally went through Twitter and was like, "Oh, this is manufactured outrage. No one is actually feeling any kind of negative." Possibly. Comment to that, real bundle of red flags on that Twitter account as well. Working in games myself, I don't know why anyone would advertise my game's banned from Steam in Germany as a point of pride. That to me just translate as I put a swastika in my game to be edgy. All right, let's open this fucking Twitter post. So the Great Rebellion on Twitter. It's not a good thing. If you want to play as orcs, you got to play evil. Also, if you look at the orcs in the pig, problem's not even just them looking like people. They look like a very specific kind of people. One I'd want to play a lot less even than the orcs posted. I don't know what he was replying to because I don't know. Is it because you're not logged in or
you catch that too, Fluff?
He just did racism.
Yeah.
Just a regular old
he
racism.
really just did a regular old ass racism.
In that sentence.
They look
In that
like a very
paragraph.
specific kind of people when I'd want to play a lot less even than the orcs I posted. I have no idea what he's responding to because it's not showing the thread he's responding to. Point being is, I guess I am the one who brought this up, but like, I don't know. I think this is black people watch out because the Mexicans are trying to take your black jobs situation of
They took our job.
they're trying to do you know about this one, the trying to take our black jobs thing recently? Apparently something.
Yeah, I saw some TikToks on that.
Yeah.
I saw some TikToks.
And honestly, most of the time the marginalized groups are just gonna have fun with it because this is nothing fucking new. This ain't nothing new. But Mexican Americans or Mexicans in general, sound off how y'all feel about the new player handbook illustration. I don't fucking know. Always comes back to racism. Always. Every time. And that's how we're going to end this podcast.
With racism.
With racism.
I'm finally gonna say it. Stay gay.
Bye.
Wait.
Oh, that's right.
Stars. Likes,
comments,
subscribe.
follows, subscriptions.
We need all of that.
all of that shit.
Because we love you.
We do love you.
And we want you to stay here forever.
Fucking
Yeah. Niggas. I'll say it with an A.
No, I said the hard R.
Yeah.
I'm the leader of this fucking troop.
That's true.
You have to say the hard R too now.
I mean, I have the pass.
Nigga. Okay, while that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I ain't saying shit.
That's fair. Goodbye.
The name of this episode is Teenage.
I'm gonna fucking kill all of you.